those lost wishes weren't the treasure I was after. Two odd contraptions guarded the lost treasure. I would have to turn one and see what happened. Pockets, barrels, butter churns, and beds were jammed into every nook and cranny of that cave. It all seems so familiar. Pockets, barrels, butter churns, and beds were jammed into every nook and cranny of that cave. It all seems so familiar. Even though the bed was very comfortable, this was no time to hide under the covers.
Wait. Hold on, Grandpa. I don't remember this part of the story. Bed?
Nestled beneath a slumbering pile of teeth and claws was...
Fabled mirror!
Oh, so you remember this part of the story.
Well, dragons are my favorite.
Do you want to tell this part?
Yes. King Edward sent me, the greatest knight in all of Daventry, on a quest to return his stolen mirror. A gigantic, hulking beast of a dragon was the last thing in my way to... My way to
add a shinier hat to my collection. As I was saying, this was no time to take a nap.
So, the missing handle was booby-trapped? What did you do?
Well, I used my cleverness to outsmart the trap. Then I used my cleverness to hide. And that's how I knew the dragon appreciated. Volumes of old books with foreboding titles clutter the shelves of that strange bedroom. How to Tame a Dragon, Breaking the Spirit of Hideous Beasts, Amateur Spells to Impress Your Friends with. No books about recovering missing handles, though.
So, the missing handle was booby-trapped? What?
that's how I do the dragon.
So, the missing handle was booby-trapped? What did you do?
Well, I used my cleverness to outsmart the trap. And that's how I do the dragon. Appreciate it. Then I use my cleverness to hide. Luckily, that half-blinded beast never noticed me in bed.
A dragon's eye must be really hard to pierce with an arrow. At archery lessons, I can barely hit a hay bale.
It is indeed a feat only for skilled archers. The dragon's chains were coiled around a gigantic switch mounted to the cave wall. This cave seemed to be filled with failed adventures. This cave seemed to be filled with failed adventures. After he briefly basked in the sun,
Wait a minute.
whoever designed this trap thought they were pretty clever, but I would probably find a way to hit that unreachable switch. The mirror called out to me. A ridiculous feeding contraption was cobbled together to keep the beast and probably its owner alive. A ridiculous feeding contraption was cobbled. A ridiculous feeding contraption was cobbled together to keep the beast and probably its owner alive. I guess you could say... I guess you could... With a magic mirror safely in my possession, I dreamt of a Daventry I would be rewarded with, and the kingdom it could become. Any would clear my path to safety, and all would have rippling consequences. Ever since the magic mirror returned, its reflections have warned the kingdom of danger, kept our family safe, and it has exposed many troublesome crumbs tangled in my beard.
Yeah. King Edward was so proud that you returned his lost treasure that he made you king. Everyone knows that part. Now, can we get back to that dragon?
Gwendolyn, there is so much more to my stories than dragons. I hope this old cap will be remembered for far more than the action tattered across its brim, sewn into the seams of many hidden adventures. All right, let's get back to the dragon.
Tell me everything. Like, why did you set the dragon?
For his atrocious past.
You have such a bizarre way of making friends, Grandpa. I guess I do too. I'm known as Gwendolyn the Popular back home, but only to my stuffed bunnies.
I've always found it best to pursue friends where I can, though they don't always feel the same about me.
All right, you two. Grandpa needs to rest. Gwendolyn, it's way past your bedtime.
Sleep well, Grandpa. I'll be back first thing in the morning.
I don't need rest. I'm as spry as I've ever been, though I wouldn't mind a slice of magic fruit.
Roar! Well, hello, cousin.
Guard!
I'm glad you're finally here. He's been asking about you for days. I had to sit through the same story 5 times.
We got here as fast as we could, and I like Grandpa's stories, especially the ones with dragons.
Ah, yes, the legendary beast that he set free. I don't know if he forgets I've heard that story before or he doesn't care, but he loves telling it to anyone that will listen. I'm pretty sure I heard the nursemaids telling his same jokes in the hall.
Have you heard anything the doctors are saying?
Yes, doctors, wizards, magic elves. Grandfather is fine, Gwendolyn. Yes, the fencing tournament. You'll love it. I'm, of course, favored to win and will make sure you have the very best seat to view my victory. The courtyard will be filled with important people and delicious hors d'oeuvres.
Oh, I'm actually competing in the tournament.
I had no idea we were hosting a junior tournament. That's incredible. In that case, I will gladly be there to cheer you on and eat delectable appetizers.
Nope. No junior tournament. I'll be squaring off against you.
I see. Well, perhaps this is the time to stop listening to stories and finally make some of your own. Good night, Gwendolyn. Sleep well.
Come in, Gwendolyn. You can set those on the nightstand.
Grandma said to take 3 spoonfuls of each.
I'll get to those. No need to fuss over me. Now, let's talk about form. There are many ways to win a duel. I, for one, have always been fond of thinking of a problem in a different way and finding a clever distraction to create a moment of victory. Speaking of, that reminds me of a story, one I know you haven't heard before. When I was a much younger lad, before I was a knight, before I'd been to Daventry, and even before I had seen a dragon. It's a tale about a tournament that changed my life. It is a long story, but I shall tell it briefly.
Well, Triumph, this looks as good.
After gracefully rappelling down the cliff, I welcomed the sight of an actual road, the first sign of civilization. I could have that odd horn seemed to be missing some sort of mouthpiece. The horn was broken, but that didn't stop me from blowing on it. Shame. The only tool left seemed to be a small hatchet. And no, Gwendolyn, before you start asking me thousands of questions about that hatchet, I did not go around using it on everything. That wheel seemed freshly broken.
Stand back, you dirty thieves! Wah! Oh, it's just a boy. Don't know where he's from, but it must be hard to pronounce. You know, you should never sneak up on a guy in a dangerous place like... Oh! What's wrong with your foot? Probably stepped on a spiniferous thornweed. Don't worry, I got just the fix for that. Tell me, is it more of a... Ow! Or a... Oh! Either way, the Merchant of Miracles has got you covered. But it'll cost you. I've risked my neck to forage the most rare, miraculous, mysterious, and oftentimes delicious ingredients. Ah, here it is. I massage this into my skin twice a day, and just look at my little biscuits. Well, now that I've mulled it over, you'd better not. It might stunt your growth. Ooh, such exquisite material. Hey. The tournament. Hopefully no one else notices your horrible lack of punctuality. Oh, how rude. Do you have any questions for me?
Could you repeat that?
Try to keep up, son. Bridge is out, failed shortcut, flying rock, wheel broke, be a strapping lad, get tools, fix wagon, get a lift to the tournament. Find me a wheel, boy. Anything big and round should do the trick.
Oh, can I pet your goats?
Stay away from my majestic unicorns.
Perhaps there was a wheel on the other side. That missing wheel had me stumped. I had to go out on a limb to get past the root of the problem.
Grandpa, your infamous puns are not my favorite.
What's the matter? You don't like the timbre of my voice? You'll warm up to the puns.
These are terrible.